SRP training, which stands for Security Response Protocol, okay? So in everybody's room or office, okay, you should have one of these. This is your red EOP binder, okay, your emergency operations binder, okay? In it, I'm just gonna go over a few things so that you understand. The first is gonna be what we're gonna be talking about today, and they are what you're gonna be hearing over that intercom system and what you're supposed to be doing during that time, okay? And then after that, you're gonna have your campus specific or your building, depending on what department you're from, specific actions, okay? So with that being said, if your job is to sweep the bathroom across from your classroom, make sure that you're paying attention and looking at your job in the binder, okay? Your campus should have a separate training that kind of goes over that, but usually it'll be sweeping the bathroom. Make sure if we're doing a lockdown, you're not leaving any of your babies in the bathroom while you're doing a lockdown, okay? It goes over evacuation. It goes over several things that are just specific to your campus because every campus is a little bit different, all right? And then some other things that you need to look at when you have some time before school starts, you have all these tabs right here, okay? They go over what do you do as a teacher in the classroom during that specific event, okay? So if there's a gas leak, there's a gas leak tab, okay? It gets as far as extensive as if there is a plane crash, what you do, okay? It could happen, okay? The only thing that probably won't happen is a train derailment because we don't have it, okay? But today we're gonna be going over the SRP, which is the overall program that we use. We do use the I Love You Guys Foundation, okay, as our security response protocol, okay? Anybody that doesn't know the backstory, but basically it's a couple. They started this program because they lost their daughter in a school shooting, and the last thing that they heard from her was a text message that says, I love you guys. So they built this program so that hopefully no other parent has to go through that. Okay, so they built it on safety and security for schools specifically. Okay, and now that I have a clue. All right, in every room and in hallways, you should have this SRP poster, okay, that goes over all 5 steps. Okay, this one just has the 4 on it because the new released one hasn't been updated on the PowerPoint yet. But we're going to go over all 5 steps. So we do have 5 actions. We have our lockout, we have our lockdown, we have our evacuate, our shelter, and our hold. Okay. So each action is followed by a directive. Okay. So in lockout, you're going to hear lockout, secure the perimeter. Lockout, secure the perimeter. You're going to hear it twice. Okay. In lockdown, you're going to hear lock lights out of sight. Evacuate to a location, so evacuate to the gym, evacuate to the parking lot, depending on what the circumstances and the need for an evacuation. Okay, usually you'll evacuate for a fire drill, sometimes you'll self-evacuate, and we'll go over that here in a little bit. And then you have your shelter in place or your shelter for a hazard. Okay, usually ours is tornadoes, but it could be an earthquake. I'm not saying it couldn't, but usually ours is a tornado. And then you have your hold in your classroom. Believe it or not, we use this more than we do anything else. Okay, and we're going to go over that briefly as well. Every action has specific instructions, and we're going to go over those. Okay, so your public address, which just means this is what you're going to hear over the intercom, is an action and directive, and it's repeated. You're going to hear it twice. Okay, because sometimes you might be doing an activity in class, you don't hear it the first time, but you should hear it the second time. So you're going to hear lockout, secure the perimeter, lockout, secure the perimeter. And at that time, one, why are you going to lock out? Just because something dangerous is near the school. Not in the school, just near it, okay? So could be criminal activity in the area, okay? It could be civil unrest. It could be a dangerous animal, playground. Isn't he cute? And then what happens? Okay, that means that we literally secure the perimeter. Every exterior door is going to be locked. There is no one in or out. Okay? If you work in the front office, I highly suggest that you guys have a plan. Okay? There's a poster that has that symbol on it. Okay? In your red binder. Take that poster, post it on the door so they can see it through the window. Because what happens if a parent comes in, the doors are locked, you're not letting anybody in, they're gonna start freaking out because they wanna get their kid, right? And they don't know what's going on. So if you have that poster on that window, they're gonna understand, hey, we're in a lockout, I'm sorry you're not getting in. Our main priority is the safety of these kids, and there's a reason you're not being let in. Okay, so most of the time they'll pay attention to those posters, but you will have one that says drill in progress. I would go ahead and make sure that whoever's working the front office is gonna be posting that on the door so that they understand as parents, okay, I'm gonna have to wait until this lockout's over in order for me to get my kid. Okay? Just kidding. Maybe.
Lockouts are typically called for by law enforcement officials.
Hi, this is Evan with the Broomfield Police Department.
Or district personnel.
A lockout. Okay, thank you for the information. Bye-bye.
Attention students, we're in lockout, secure the perimeter. Lockout, secure the perimeter.
The goals of a lockout are to get all students and staff inside the building.
Guys, come on in. You need to get inside. Go up to the first classroom on the right. Hurry, 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 hurry.
And then lock all exterior doors. In most cases of a lockout, it will be business as usual inside the school. However, in some cases, a lockdown may also be issued in conjunction with a lockout, particularly if the threat is near the school.
So with that being said, lockout, if you are near an exterior door, so if your classroom just happens to be near an exterior door and we go into a lockout, okay? If you look into your campus specific instructions, there should be something in there that says you're required to check this door, okay? Even if you're not, I would make sure that if you're next to that door and we go into a lockout, you're gonna go and make sure and secure those doors. Because some of our doors do catch, guys. Especially I know the intermediate, and we're working on getting those fixed. I know that there's some issues, but it's in the works, I can promise you that, okay? But we're gonna hopefully get those doors to where they're not gonna catch anymore. But with that being said, our student instructions, okay? If you're outside, make sure we get them in the building, because the threat's outside, it's not inside, and we want them inside.
I have a question.
Yes.
Last year we had it wasn't a lockout, I think it was a lockdown.
Mhm.
And we were traveling outside and we never heard the announcement. So what if you're outside, how are you even gonna hear it?
Okay, so we'll get into lockdown and you're outside here in just a minute, okay? But lockout, if they're outside, we want them in.
But how are you gonna hear the announcement?
Hopefully we're gonna have something in place where you'll get a text message, but if it's during passing periods, we're gonna have something in place, okay? But I'm glad you brought it up because it's something that I can put on my to-do list to make sure we do have in place, okay? There is a text message app that we're looking at. I wanna say it's called Nautilus. That basically when something happens, everybody across the district would get a message, or if it's just a specific school, you'd get a message on your phone, okay? So students, we want them in the building, okay? There is no one going in or out of the building, okay? It is business as usual, so you can still teach your class, okay? I would shut the door, still have class. You can still switch classes during a lockout. It just means the threat's outside, and it might be right down the road. Now, if that threat gets closer, then we look at a lockdown, okay? For teachers, you wanna make sure you, again, bring everybody inside. Lock any outside doors, make sure that they're secured. Increase your situational awareness, okay? Because if the threat was down the road, but let's just say you hear something because you have that exterior door near your classroom, then you can alert your admin team of, hey, this situation I think is escalated, here's what's going on, here's what I hear. So just make sure that you increase your situational awareness of what's going on, and take attendance and note the time. Because let's just say we went into a lockout. Guys, when we go into a lockout, lockdown, whatever it is, we kind of get anxiety because you don't really know what's going on, okay? You get tunnel vision, you forget things. You might forget that little Johnny went to the bathroom and now you closed your door and it locks automatically and we don't know where Johnny is anymore. So make sure that you take some time, say, all right, I need to take attendance, make sure everybody's here, and then we're good to go, okay? Again, business as usual, okay? So when might a lockout occur? Okay, this was, we have our dangerous animal on the playground, okay, criminal activity in the area, and then, any reason that might warrant us to make sure that our perimeter is secure. Okay. Who can call a lockout? So usually we'll hear something from our local police department, because they'll call us and say, hey, this is what's going on in the area, you might want to put the school on a lockout. And then our campus admin will also. But as a teacher, if you see something, say something. Okay, because if you're gonna call your admin and say, hey, I see something on the playground that does not look right, there's some old guy literally swinging on the swing for some reason, I don't know. Well, we wanna make sure that we report that so that we can actually go on a lockout until we can get police over to escort that person off school property. Okay. What about class changes? Class changes are fine during a lockout. So it's business as usual, okay? If it escalates to something more, again, we'll go on a lockdown, okay? Can we leave the school? No, not until it's cleared. All right. And then we'll go into our lockdown. You're gonna hear lock lights out of sight, lock lights out of sight for a lockdown, okay? It's very general. So you lock the doors, you turn the lights out, and you're out of sight, okay? Usually in the past we've had code words and stuff like that before, right? Okay, we've all heard code red, code orange, code green, code blue. They don't do that anymore because how many of y'all can actually tell me I remembered all of those codes and what I was supposed to do? I couldn't tell you one of them right now. Okay? It's very specific. Lock lights out of sight. I know what to do and I don't have to think about it. Okay? Alright, so why a lockdown? Is because something dangerous is inside the building. Okay? This is where you have to be on your toes. You've got to be quick. Okay? There could be a crazy person in the hallways. Okay? It could be something worse. Guys, it happens all the time. I'm not saying it's going to happen here, but we want to be prepared as if it would. So we could have a shooter in the building. So if you hear lock lights out of sight, we're going to be lock lights out of sight and we're going to do it fast. Okay? Because our main priority is to keep those kids and you safe. Right? Now, with things being a little different with COVID, know that when we do our drills, okay, usually at some of our campuses, it's lock lights and in a closet. And we have everybody in a closet all, spaced together. With COVID, it's gonna look a little different. Okay, so if you've got your window in the door, make sure that whoever is looking in that window, okay, and it should hopefully be covered, and we'll go over coverings here in just a second, but if they look in and they look to the side, they still can't see anything. So that means that this wall over here, you would have them socially distanced against this wall where they can't be seen through that window. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
So what if we're in a portable and there's windows on every wall?
When you turn your lights out and have your coverings, you're just gonna have to get into the best possible position where you can't be seen. Okay? That means that if there's windows, there's coverings on every window. Okay? Have those kids low and where they can't be seen. I'm gonna tell you right now, 90% of the time, if there's a locked door, they pass up that locked door because it's too much work. They're gonna find the person that left it open. Okay, and that's coming from all of the SRP trainings that I've been through, that 90% of the time, they don't mess with a locked door because it's too much work. They're gonna go and find someone that left it open. All right, so make sure we're locking those doors, okay?
If you're in a classroom when a lockdown is called, the main thing to remember is locks, lights, out of sight. As students gather in a safe area of the room, lock the door and turn off all lights. Have everyone in the room move to a location that is out of sight. Pick an area of the room that can't be seen from interior windows. An actual lockdown may not be resolved for several hours. Here's how you should wait. Stay in the safe location. Don't move around the room. Remain silent. Staff, take written attendance of who is in the room. Note anyone missing and if you have any extra students or staff.
I don't know why, but I feel like the video should be longer. Now, again, students stay outside the corridor window, okay? I know you said you had more windows. Just make sure you have coverings for them, okay? The best thing is you want to make sure they're quiet and you want to make sure they can't be seen. That's your biggest thing.
For the library, it's all windows.
It is all windows, but you do have that extra room over to the side that you can get into. Okay. Make sure they're silent. I'm going to tell you right now, I've done quite a few walkthroughs, and the little ones do really well. Half the time, I don't even know that they're there. I don't even know how they hide in some of the spots they hide in. Okay. Just make sure that they understand. The biggest thing is, yes, you know what to do, but it's training them so that they know what to do. Okay, and that's across all grade levels, because I want those babies that are coming from 2nd grade to 3rd grade to see you guys, that they understand this is what I'm supposed to do. And this is why we have all the same language, and they're gonna hear it all across the board, no matter what grade they're in. Okay, so make sure they're silent. Don't open the doors for anyone. Okay, this is probably the hardest part during a lockdown, because what happens when you hear, Miss Knowles, let me in. I'm out here, let me in. What do? It's scary. It's hard. It is very hard to make that decision. Okay? That's why those campus-specific instructions are very important. Because if you're meant to go in and sweep a bathroom, that means there shouldn't be anyone in the hallway. And the person that's sitting there trying to call you out is probably the bad guy. Okay? I've been in several trainings, and that is the hardest part, because I want to open that door so bad, because that's one of my babies. I know it is, and it might not be, and I might have just opened up for one person to risk the 25 other kids that I have in my room. Okay, so we cannot open the door for anyone, but that's again why those campus-specific instructions are so important. That if I'm supposed to sweep this bathroom, I do my job, because we don't want to leave anybody behind and have them out in the hallway. Okay. Teacher instructions, lock and close the classroom door. Okay, turn out the lights. Make sure it's dark in there they can't see. It says leave the corridor window uncovered. We decided last year we want them covered. Okay, there's controversy if they want them uncovered because they want police officers to be able to see in the rooms. I would rather them be covered, especially when you're out in the portable. I want no one to be able to see in. Okay. All right. Do not slide anything under the door. Okay. Who can tell me why? Because what?
Tell somebody that you're in there.
Exactly. You're telling someone that you're in there. You're literally putting a target on your door that says, hey, I'm here. They used to just slide it under to say, we need assistance or we're good. But you're basically just saying, hey, we're in this classroom. Okay, so make sure we're not doing that. Okay. Make sure that you maintain silence in the classroom. The kids are going to be scared, especially in a real situation. Okay, I know that I've done walkthroughs, and there are some that didn't hear the announcement. So when I'm doing a walkthrough and the entire building is locked down except for that one classroom, and let's just say I'm the shooter, where am I going? I'm going to the classroom where it sounds like they're having a party, because I know they're in there. So make sure that you're always being aware of those announcements, but maintaining silence. Because if I can hear you, I know you're in there. And you're tipping off the bad person in the hallway. Okay? Take attendance and note the time. Make sure that you always take attendance, because you don't know during that time, because you went into tunnel vision, you started getting anxiety, because it's a lot going on. It's a hard situation to be in when you are in a real situation lockdown. Okay, so make sure that you take that time. Say, all right, I know that Annie and Johnny were absent today, so I should have 17 kids. And I'm making sure all of my kids are in this room. Okay. Another reason you want to take attendance is what happens if your job was the one that swept that bathroom, and you got 2 kids out there. Well, now you've got 2 extra kids, and you don't want the person next to you that should have had them to say they're here, but you've got them. They need to say, hey, I'm missing 2 kids, but we found them in this room. So it's really important to make sure you take that attendance, right?
If a fire alarm sounds, do not leave your safe location unless you are certain that a fire is threatening your room. If you are forced to evacuate due to a fire, keep in mind that the hall may not be your best escape route.
Okay. So this is just a reminder that we have some people that will go into a building and let's just say y'all did an excellent job, everything is locked down. They can't get into a single classroom. They get creative. They decide to pull the fire alarm. Okay? Your instinct is to, well, there's a fire, we have to leave. If you're in a lockdown, unless you see smoke, smell it, see a fire, you don't leave. Because all they're doing is trying to draw you into the hallway for a mass shooting, basically. Okay? It does happen, and I know that y'all don't want to hear it, but we have to be prepared for it. Alright, difference between a lockout and a lockdown. Okay? Remember that a lockout is where we're securing the perimeter, and we have business as usual in the classrooms. We can change classes, we can carry on, we just don't let any visitors in and out of the building. Okay? We make sure that our students come back in the building if they're outside. If we're in a lockdown, okay, that's when lock lights out of sight. No one's coming in or out of the building. We're not going in the hallways for any reason. Now, what if you're outside during a lockdown? Okay, so let's just say that you find out we're in a lockdown and y'all are out at recess. Okay, your school has a rendezvous point. Okay, I know we made it last year for the intermediate, and I'll check to see where it is. I know Ms. McDowell was part of that, helping where that location was gonna be, okay? So, with that being said, know where that rendezvous point is, because if they go on a lockdown, you're not getting back in that building, and you're gonna go to that rendezvous point, okay? For my campus specifically, just to kind of give you an example, if, let's just say my DAP kids are taking a walk around the building to stretch their legs because they've earned a 15-minute walk, because it does happen with our level system, okay? And we go into a lockdown. They are not to come back in the building, but they are actually to go to the park. And we will have them picked up from that location. But that's for my campus. Your campus is gonna be different depending on what was set up, okay? But just know that you don't go back into the building. The threat was in the building. We don't want you in there. Okay, so you're gonna go to a different location. Okay, have your phone on you. And we're gonna talk about taking your phone with you as well, especially when you start to evacuate. Because all you have to do is, let's just say that you weren't sure where it was and you decided to go to the park anyways. Then all you have to do is call your administrator and say, hey, we were outside when this happened and we're at the park right now. Here's where we're at, and we're together as a class. Sorry, can't talk today. So making sure that you keep that line of communication open, okay? What if there's no teacher in the room and you go on a lockdown? Let's just say the teacher left for 2 seconds to grab something from another teacher's room, okay, and they haven't come back. Your students should know what to do. So when we do drills, it isn't just me, the teacher, I'm in charge. So keep that in mind. I would assign 2 kids that are in your class. Say that your job is to close the door and pull the magnetic strip, okay? And your job is to turn the lights out and make sure that we gather in this location. This is where we know what we're supposed to be doing. They should know what to do. Once they hear that announcement, they should know what to do. Instead of you having to say, all right, so here's what we're gonna do, guys. It should be second nature. And that's kind of the hope of this program, so that when they get to you guys after having kindergarten, first, second, all of the drills that we do in those grade levels, by the time they get to you, they should know what to do. Okay, but if there's no teacher, even though I've got older kids, they know what they're doing. They know their job, whether there's someone in that room or not. Okay, and I hope that that doesn't ever happen, because you guys are their home, their rock, the person that they see, you know, most of the day. And I don't want them to be in a locked classroom without you, but if it does happen, at least they have their chores, basically, that they're gonna be doing. Okay, so make sure you have something like that set in place. Okay. What if you're in the hallway during a lockdown? You find the nearest